Good morning. My name is Tyler Glaze, and I'm hearing officer in today's proceedings. This hearing is being recorded to maintain a permanent record. Today is March 17th, 2021. The time is approximately 9:32 a.m. Laura Burns is present in the main conference room of the State Building Codes Division office at 1535 Edgewater Street, Northwest Salem, Oregon. And Laura, I believe Melissa Stiles is with you as well?
Yes, she is.
Excellent. And there are several others present virtually via telephone and or GoToMeeting. This is the time and place set for the public rulemaking hearing to take public comment on the amendment of OAR 918-460-0500. These rules describe the energy provisions of the Oregon Structural Specialty Code adopted pursuant to OAR Chapter 918, Division 8 as the Oregon Energy Efficiency Specialty Code. They also adopt the 2019 edition of ANSI ASHRAE IES Standard 90.1 with additional Oregon amendments as the new Oregon Energy Efficiency Specialty Code, and provide a 6-month grace period for this new standard. Notice for today's hearing was filed with the Secretary of State on February 11th, 2021, and was published in the March Oregon Bulletin. This hearing will be conducted according to the Oregon Administrative Procedures Act, ORS Chapter 183, and the Attorney General's Model Rules. The division will review issues raised during the public hearing and will consider all written and oral submissions. No responses to questions will be made at this time. This is the second public hearing. This is not the second public hearing. This is the first public hearing on these matters. And in addition to the opportunity to present oral comments at this hearing, anyone may submit written comments until Friday, March 19th, 2021 at 5:00 p.m., which is the close of the public comment period. No other comments or exhibits will be accepted after this date unless the division extends the public comment period for everyone. So for all of these individuals here who wish to testify, before beginning your testimony, please state your name, address, and affiliation with an organization, if any, for the record. If you have written statements, please email them to rulescoordinator.bcd@oregon.gov so they may be properly marked as exhibits and made part of the record for this meeting. All right, and first up to testify is Ms. Tanya Sorrell-Neal. Can you please state your name and affiliation?
Yes, my name is Tanya Sorrell-Neal. I am the West Region Director for the International Masonry Institute.
Please proceed.
Thank you. The Oregon masonry industry has a strong history of durable products, well-paying jobs, and expert crafts, women and men who are proud of the buildings we build, the communities we protect, and the environment we cherish. We are constantly improving our products, processes, and technology to serve these goals. Today, I come before you representing union bricklayers, small and medium-sized contractors, and manufacturers with businesses who manufacture and supply and install concrete masonry units. I am asking you as you move forward to consider our industry when you are updating the energy provisions for the Oregon Structural Specialty Code. I know you will be looking at several options, and we hope to work with you as you move forward. Our concern is different options that you are considering will provide the opportunity for our industry to be left behind and will have critical financial and economic impact to the more than 5,000 men and women our industry represents. In quick sum, over the past several years, this council thoroughly discussed, considered, and passed an amendment that allowed the state to benefit from the natural thermal elements a CMU mass wall has to hold and release energy. The council recognized that some building types, by their use, have different insulation and energy benefits and needs, and that requiring additional insulation actually work against the mechanical system, expending more energy and costing more money to the owner. These building types keep my bricklayers, manufacturers, and contractors employed on an annual basis. It is the primary source of our business volume, and the loss of the mass wall exemption in Oregon would damage my members' financial and economic opportunities severely and will result in the reduction of jobs because, quite honestly, we will not have the market to continue the level of improvement without this segment of construction. Regarding the non-residential code, we can support adoption of 90.1/2019 with some amendments, including the mass wall amendment that this council previously put in place. 90.1/2019 in its purest form doesn't reflect our Oregon climate and relied on older national average cost data for mass walls that are not reflective of Oregon's costs. If you all adopt 90.1 2019 without amendments, this part of our industry will be left behind as it becomes too costly and or exceedingly more difficult to build with exposed concrete block. We can also support SAM to the 2021 version of IECC, keeping the state-specific amendments. This is really our first choice. And it's worth noting the option to use ComCheck is helpful, but it is limited in the ability to accurately evaluate the thermal performance of concrete masonry mass walls. So it doesn't really help to fully maintain market share for these manufacturers and craft people. The CMU amendment in the current alternate method is limited in scope and doesn't impact many buildings on a statewide basis, and yet is very important to the health of the masonry industry. If we had the opportunity to be in person as we have in the past, I would be able to show you the impact more thoroughly to our industry. The mass wall has many positive benefits to the built environment while not driving additional unnecessary costs to the construction of the building. Without this code amendment, the additional cost for the CMU wall will run the risk of pricing it out of the market. We know the impact to be very significant to our small business owners if this opportunity is no longer feasible. I am asking you to work with the masonry industry as you have many times in the past to maintain the mass wall code amendments that will continue to allow us to be part of the economy in Oregon. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. All right, and next we have Adam Hutchinson. Can you please state your name and affiliation again, please, for the record?
I'm Adam Hutchinson, Technical Director of the Masonry Institute of Washington. Our association promotes and supports mason contractors who construct masonry buildings throughout Oregon and Washington. These masons primarily build exterior walls for commercial and institutional projects. These walls are referred to as mass walls in the Energy Code. We are not opposed to the proposed adoption of ASHRAE 90.1-19 with amendments as the energy provisions of the Oregon Specialty Code. However, we are concerned about what will happen to the current alternate IECC compliance path permitted under SAM 19-01, as it contains a state-specific amendment that is very important to the concrete masonry industry, and we request that it be maintained in some manner. Concrete masonry walls are unique in that they provide a building owner with thermal mass properties, fire resistance, durability, and resilience. From an energy efficiency standpoint, concrete masonry buildings perform very well for certain commercial building types in the Oregon climate. This fact has been documented and incorporated into past Oregon energy codes as state-specific amendments. MIW does not want to see previously adopted or approved code provisions lost in this transition to ASHRAE 90.1-19. We do not believe that it was the intent of the board to remove this state amendment. This amendment has shown to be successful and supported over the past several code cycles. There has been no evidence provided as to why it should be removed. Conversely, through the past several code cycles, many studies and much evidence has shown that this amendment is a cost-effective option for certain commercial buildings in Oregon. Recently, the Northwest Concrete Masonry Association did a study utilizing localized energy data for Portland, Oregon, to study the impacts of different wall choices for a gymnasium. Utilizing ASHRAE 90.1, a proposed mass wall following the current amendments had only a 1.6% difference in energy cost when compared to an interior insulated code baseline wall, which has a payback period of approximately 240 years, significantly longer than the expected lifetime of a building. When ASHRAE evaluates cost effectiveness, they use older national average construction costs. These national costs are not representative of Oregon prices. When detailed whole building energy analyses are conducted utilizing local weather data and accurate local construction costs, it is found that the concrete masonry walls permitted by SAM 19-01 are cost effective. In contrast, without the current amendment, these exterior walls would be required to be constructed in a manner that would result in a simple payback periods well beyond the lifetime of the building. Given concrete masonry's durability and low maintenance benefits, life cycle cost analyses demonstrate that integral insulated concrete walls or concrete masonry walls are a better choice than interior insulated masonry walls. We want to bring this issue to your attention and find a way to preserve the current state-specific concrete masonry amendment. We have not seen justification for its elimination and believe that it is not the intent of this process. We would like to take this opportunity to propose the following. Update SAM 19-01 to the 2021 IECC, maintaining the current Oregon amendments. This latest IECC code used the more stringent insulation criteria of ASHRAE 90.1-19 and IECC 2018, and would therefore allow Oregon to have the most efficient code as an option. Additionally, maintaining an IECC alternative path provides Northwest building designers with increased design flexibility. If SAM 19-01 is not maintained, we support the adoption of ASHRAE 90.1-19 with the addition of the following amendment. Add footnote B to table 5.5-4 and footnote C to 5.5-5 that states, mass walls shall meet the heat capacity requirement. Integral insulated concrete block walls complying with ASTM C90 with all cores filled shall be considered compliant when meeting both of the following. 1, at least 50% of cores shall be filled with vermiculite or equivalent fill insulation. And 2, the structure encloses one of the following uses: gymnasium, auditorium, church chapel, arena, kennel, manufacturing plant, indoor swimming pool, pump station, water and wastewater treatment facility, storage facility, restroom and concessions, mechanical electrical structures, storage areas, warehouse, storage and retail, motor vehicle facility. These are the same amendments that are currently in the IECC 2018 provisions in the Oregon Energy Code as it stands. Use of the ConCheck software would remain an option when using this amendment. The ASHRAE 90.1-19 required prescriptive U factor for mass walls would simply be entered into the program for this deemed to comply wall system. We appreciate the opportunity to provide testimony today and for your consideration of our comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hutchinson. Next, we have Matt Eliezer. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Could you please state your name again for the record and your affiliation?
My name is Matt Eliezer. I'm president of Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers, Local 1, Oregon, 12812, Northeast Mark Street, Portland, Oregon, 97230. Mr. Chairman and council members, thank you for the time to speak with you about the adoption of 90.1 2019 and its impact to my bricklayers and contractors. I represent roughly 1,000 bricklayers and over 75 masonry and tile contractors statewide, which represents more than 1,200 working families in Oregon. Our representation of the industry has accounted for over $100 million in business volume in 2019. My employers are as small as 2 employees and as large as 200 employees. We support the adoption of 90.1 2019 as long as the amendments to the code are allowed, specifically inclusion of the mass wall amendment that is currently in code. Oregon has done a great job in recognizing that one size does not fit all. Unfortunately, the 2019 version of 90.1 doesn't account for some needed construction options. The mass wall amendment allows for construction of limited building types, such as schools, Costco's, and Les Schwab buildings, for example, that make up many of the projects that we build. The loss of the mass wall amendment in Oregon will be felt directly by my membership and will impact many of our employment opportunities throughout the state of Oregon. The amendment has been thoroughly vetted by the council in previous years. We don't believe that the exclusion of the amendment is intentional, but an unintentional consequence of the simplification to the 90.1 2019 upgrade. Mass walls benefit our community, my industry, and the built environment as a whole, not driving additional unnecessary costs. We know that the impact will be very significant to our small businesses, our owners, and employees if the design opportunity is no longer feasible. I am asking you to work with us, as you have done many times in the past, to maintain mass wall codes amendments that has been vetted by this council and include mass walls in the construction economy. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eliezer. Next, we have Eric Lacey.
All right, thank you, Mr. Glaze. My name is Eric Lacey. I chair an organization called the Responsible Energy Codes Alliance. We are a national coalition of product and equipment manufacturers, trade associations, efficiency advocates, and environmental groups that all support the adoption of the latest editions of the model codes, including the IECC and ASHRAE. And I speak in support of the adoption of ASHRAE Standard 90.1 2019. This will help maintain Oregon's leadership in commercial building energy codes. Just a couple of comments here. The reasons why we support Standard 90.1 2019 include the additional energy savings and modernization that is included in the latest published model energy code, but also more consistency between the ASHRAE provisions and those of the IECC, which is the more commonly adopted commercial energy code. In particular, fenestration, U-factors, and SHGCs will be frame material neutral, providing the correct incentives for design professionals and builders to install the most efficient products. All of these things will lead to more energy savings, and we believe will be good for Oregon citizens. Looking ahead, we would also like to recommend, as was mentioned by a previous commenter, that Oregon consider allowing compliance with the 2021 IECC as an acceptable alternative. There were significant energy efficiency improvements in the 2021 IECC, including improvements to the thermal envelope components, the opaque envelope, and fenestration, such that the 2021 IECC is as efficient or more efficient in the opaque envelope and fenestration requirements than the code that Oregon is considering adopting. We also believe this would give design professionals an additional option for compliance. And as I mentioned earlier, because so many other states adopt the IECC and ASHRAE as two compliance options, it would make Oregon a little more consistent with the practice in a lot of other jurisdictions. The IECC and ASHRAE are becoming more consistent with each other in terms of requirements and also in terms of climate zones. ASHRAE adopted updated climate zone maps in the 2016 version, and those climate zone maps were adopted in the 2021 IECC as well. So I say these things not in any way to try to slow down the current process. As I said at the beginning, we support the adoption of ASHRAE Standard 90.1 2019 wholeheartedly. We're asking that Oregon consider in the future adding an additional compliance option for 2021 IECC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lacey. And next we have Kevin Duell.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just witnessing.
Good, Mr. Duell, I apologize. All right, and do we have anyone else who wishes to testify on this matter? All right, hearing that there is no one else, I would like to reiterate that once again, written testimony will be accepted until Friday, March 19th, 2021 at 5:00 p.m. No other comments or exhibits will be accepted after this date. And the time is approximately 9:50. Thank you for attending today's hearing and providing comments. And this concludes the public hearing.
Tyler, this is Neil. I didn't give you an address. Do you need my address, or do you want me to email it in?
If you would like to just email that to me, my email address is tyler.glaze, so my first and last name, at oregon.gov. That would be much appreciated.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you all.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Melissa.